Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, and welcome to this afternoon's Convocation ceremony as we celebrate graduates of the degree, diploma, and certificate programs in the School of Business and the Faculty of Fine Arts and Communication. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the very talented group of individuals standing behind me or sitting or to my side, who, under the direction of Assistant Professor Raymond Burry, comprise of the Macewan University Big Band. Let's give them a big round of applause. We will commence our program in just a few moments, and in preparation, I'd like to remind you that the Wind Spear Center is an acoustically responsive hall. Therefore, we ask that if you are carrying any electronic devices with you this afternoon, that you take a moment now to turn them off, or at least to set them to vibrate for the duration of the ceremony. If you are traveling with small children and your little ones become restless during the ceremony today and they need to have a little break, I just want to let you know that outside in the foyers and the lobby areas on all levels, there are screens in which you can continue to watch the ceremony unfold this afternoon if you need to take that little break with your little ones. We have arranged for a professional photographer to take photos of graduates as they walk across the stage, and information about how those photos can be purchased will be forwarded to graduates at a later date. However, I'm sure that you noticed that as you came into the Wind Spear Center today, out in the main foyer area, there is a Macewan University alumni backdrop, and if you have not already made use of it, we would certainly encourage you to do so at the conclusion of today's convocation program to take some of those photos of your graduates as those keepsakes of today's activity. But of course, if you want to take photos as they walk across the stage today, you are certainly welcome to do so. We would just ask that you gather on your right, my left here, this little area just in front of the stage. You can come into that area, 5 or 6, 7 in advance of when your graduate's expected to cross the stage, and you can take a photo of them as they walk across the stage, shake their hands, and maybe they'll even pause for you just at the end so you can take a good picture as opposed to a motion one moving across the stage. Ushers will be available in that area to kind of help you should you need assistance. Today is indeed a wonderful and celebratory event as we recognize our graduates for their achievements here at Macewan University. So we certainly encourage you to sit back and to enjoy. Before we begin our ceremony, the Macewan University Big Band will perform a vocal ballad called Memories, written by Andrew Reed, a Bachelor of Music alumnus from 2015, the same year in which he wrote this piece to celebrate the first graduating class of the Bachelor of Music in Jazz and Contemporary Popular Music. And today it remains a part of our legacy of the university and our convocation ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put it together, the Macewan University Big Band.
Chapter has begun.
Let's keep it going. One more big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Macewan University Big Band. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, if you are able, I'd ask that you please rise. I am pleased to introduce this afternoon's mace bearer, Abigail Parrish-Craig, the Director of the Services for Students with Disability in our Student Affairs area. Ms. Parrish-Craig is carrying the university's mace, which was donated to the university in 1997 by its namesake, Dr. Grant McEwen, and became the official mace in 2008. It is especially meaningful to the university as it was handcrafted by Dr. McEwen. Further information on the mace and other convocation traditions can be found in your convocation program. Also, I'd like to introduce this afternoon the university's faculty procession is led by Ms. Cheryl Steele, Faculty Services, and the Faculty of Fine Arts and Communications. So she'll be leading the faculty who will be coming into the loft behind me. Please remain standing now for the academic processional.
Good afternoon. Graduates, distinguished guests, members of the stage party, faculty, staff, and all others in attendance, my name is David McLaughlin, and I am the Marshal of Convocation. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather in Treaty 6 territory is a traditional gathering place for many Indigenous people. We honor and respect the history, languages, ceremonies, and cultures of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who call this territory home. Please remain standing, and in respect, remove all hats except those that are part of academic dress for the singing of our national anthem, led by Ms. Carolyn Erasmus. Thank you, Ms. Erasmus. Everyone, please be seated. I declare Macewan University Convocation open. At this academic ceremony, we will honor our 2019 graduates by conferring degrees, diplomas, and certificates, and by recognizing outstanding achievements. We are honored to have you present with us on this occasion. I invite Acting President John McGrath to the podium.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon and welcome everyone to Convocation. It's my pleasure to now introduce members of the stage party. And members of the stage party, please remain standing once you've been called. I would ask that the members of the audience please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. I'd like to start with the introduction of Macewan University's new Board of Governors Chair, Carolyn Graham. Ms. Graham began her term as chair in August of this year. Previously, Carolyn has served as a Macewan board member from 2011 to 2017. She is Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer at Canadian Western Bank and brings a dedication to strategic leadership and community service to her role on our Board of Governors. This is Carolyn's first convocation as board chair, and we are so excited and very grateful to have her dedicated and thoughtful leadership here at Macewan. We'll allow that one, just because it's Carolyn. Now I will introduce other members of the stage party, starting with our presiding academic official at this convocation ceremony, our academic leader, Provost and Vice President Academic and Vice Chancellor Dr. Craig Monk. Next to Dr. Monk is General Faculty's Council Executive Committee member Kathleen Miller. I'd ask that the Board of Governors members please stand. That our deans and vice presidents rise, please. That our associate vice presidents and associate deans please stand. Would other members of the university administration rise? Demonstrate. I now ask that the representatives of each of our associations, faculty, staff, alumni, and students stand. And finally, would our Indigenous knowledge keeper please rise? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot the Mace Bearer. My apologies. I would ask that the Mace Bearer, Distinguished Proctor, and all the remaining faculty and staff at the university please rise. This is our convocation stage party for today's event. Together, they represent all of the faculty and staff from across the university who taught you, encouraged you, challenged you, supported you, and worked behind the scenes for you during your time at Macewan University, and they are all honored to be here and to celebrate with you today. So please join me in acknowledging all of them. Thank you, stage party. You may be seated.
I would like to invite Dr. Craig Monk, Provost and Vice President Academic, to come to the podium with Indigenous Knowledge Keeper Roxanne Tatusis. Dr. Monk will recognize and honor the Indigenous Knowledge Keeper, and then Roxanne Tatusis will provide the Indigenous invocation.
Afternoon, Roxanne.
Yes, good afternoon, Craig.
Roxanne was stuck with me at lunch, so it's my pleasure to share her company with the rest of you, and it's my deep honor that you're here to participate with us. And so I'd like to offer you a protocol for your participation in convocation.
Okay. Wache, asamina kakyo gitalam skatno. Niistä kävimme vaapikon itseni hiuirasun, hutuutse, pitokona piunega mistä heimasva hotaski nautse. Ja kun en askumana se minuutta niistä kapintum gojan, kape vitap muntakok. Again, I always greet you in my first language, which is the Plains Cree language, to welcome you all and grateful to be invited always to come and open in the sacred manner of our ancestors. In my box, I put water on, so my match is not going to light, but I would always light the smudge and honor the protocol of tobacco and this prayer cloth that's been offered to me to bless this sacred space, everybody that's present here, so you'll take home good blessings of celebration for our graduates here. And so with that, I'm going to honor this tobacco, this protocol, which for us is the gateway that opens that spiritual doorway to all of our ancestors to come in. Bless each and every one of us in a way that's meaningful and purposeful to celebrate this day. So with that, I'm going to pray in my first language, and I will interpret it for you in the best way that I can for these blessings for each and every one of us to take home. So with that, and I'm always grateful to this institution that honors Indigenous ways of knowing and being in helping making ourselves visible to these institutions and honoring our ways. So to Macewan, I'm grateful that you'd have me stand in front of you today for myself. I never thought I would see this day. So I'm grateful for all the work Macewan does to bring Indigenous knowledge to our institution. So with that, ai hain mamu tawin ang semanto. Hau na musumpunak no gumpunak, hau gisto ate yoganak. Atanista mo ekskemtakok, asaminamsta hinanaskute noma. Iksewat suno, ksagituno. Iku makakio gawi etemek, iku nugu ke kakio koi pasiku taikok misnan. Te saga mehtemagi te toskion. Au nisnan uteina maunan mamtenitskannan, te honnan, eksisuma mamu, nga koe kisihtanan, kakio hikista kape uietemek, kakap mitsahama. Au tagagna utska go kakio nista gawi te toskema, ke nu gawi kisiksno maschek. Au ekta mamu, so emnan. Minä naskip matsune miasik. Uiatteko seuen? Papeueuen. Muanaskeuen. Eikä omkikoi nistan. Auiak mä vanskutu tänään. Mä aiekta niistä. Ai hei, kahkio gitti noo. Kahkio noo kumaa. Again, Creator God, I give thanks to you today for your love, your kindness, and compassion to bring these beautiful people here together in celebration of these graduates here today. I offer you this tobacco and this prayer cloth that you come down and bless this sacred space and all the participants here, and all that we can continue your good works to take care of the people and all of mankind and of your creation. Again, I give thanks again And I ask that you bless our minds and hearts so we can take home whatever's going to be meaningful and purposeful to help do your good works in serving the people. Again, I'm grateful for those less fortunate, and I ask that you continue to guide us, protect us, and give us the knowledge that we need to move forward in a good way in these times of challenging times. So with these things, I give thanks to you, to all my relations. Aye. Thank you.
Thank you for the invocation, Roxanne. One of our student board members and the current president of the Students Association of Macewan University, Riley Osachuk, will read the Macewan University invocation.
Thank you, Dr. McLaughlin. Through learning, we flourish and help others to flourish. We stand here today on the brink of important change for ourselves and for the world. Inspired by the past, we now step forward to transform the future. Engaging with others, we cherish the diversity of experience within our communities and ourselves. Through perseverance, we excel. Through compassion, we connect. Through creativity, we thrive. And through knowledge, we grow. Through all this and more, let us forge a legacy to nurture, to inspire, and to endure. Moved by this spirit, strong in our knowledge, we move out into the world with open arms, an open mind, and an open heart. We pledge to leave the world better than we found it. Thank you.
Thank you, Riley. Dr. Craig Monk, Macewan University's Provost and Vice Chancellor, will now address the convocation.
I will tell you what I will do and what I will not do. I will not serve that in which I no longer believe, whether it call itself my home, my fatherland, or my church. And I will try to express myself in some mode of life or art as freely as I can and as wholly as I can. You made me confess the fears that I have, but I will tell you also what I do not fear. I do not fear to be alone, or to be spurned for another, or to leave whatever I have to leave. And I am not afraid to make a mistake, even a great mistake, a lifelong mistake, and perhaps as long as eternity, too. I did not write these words. They are from James Joyce, the greatest writer of the 20th century. Again, I ask you, don't at me. This will not be an address about politics or an address about religion, but in this passage, from a portrait of the artist as a young man, Joyce's protagonist identifies those things with which he is intimately familiar, and he pledges that he is prepared, more than prepared, in fact, to cast them off, no matter what might be the repercussions. This is not adolescent angst. This is the considered determination of someone who is knowledgeable. In background and in experience, Stephen Daedalus has a lot in common with you. I've heard a lot of convocation addresses. This is my 50th Macewan convocation this afternoon. They're commencement speeches that talk, not unreasonably, about the mix of excitement and trepidation you likely feel at times like these. My message for you today is a simple one. Be bold. Never apologize for inquiring. Do not be afraid of making a mistake. If the hero of Joyce's portrait resolves to question everything, expecting to turn his back on all he has known, and he is willing to risk making a mistake that might extend into forever, what really have you to fear, sitting now in front of me? Teaching at a university has been for me about rewatching a movie whose ending I know. My job in the classroom year after year has been to chart for and with my students a journey to an end point that has never been in question. Administrations, governments need to measure outcomes, but we should keep as our little secret the fact that how we achieve those outcomes is always the more interesting component of what has happened to you as you've progressed with us. It also holds for life itself, but I'll leave that for you to figure out on your own. My professorial colleagues are assembled here behind me in the choir loft. For some of them, getting you to engage ideas more widely in the world is an action to be initiated concurrently with the consideration of those ideas themselves. Praxis is an integral part of their teaching practice. That's never been how I do things. A university for me is always a dangerous ideas laboratory. Your chance in a safe environment to prepare yourself for the next thing and to lay the foundation for the thing after that. Similarly, I've never believed that it is for a university to define justice or to take a social stand. A healthy, functioning university holds such a diversity of opinion that its positions would almost surely be contradictory and incoherent. Indeed, it is for all of us to take a stand individually and piece together this Macewan us from those strands of opinion. No other employer with which I am familiar fosters that kind of diversity, and that's why I love the university life, why I value above all else my academic freedom as a scholar. From the moment of your convocation, you hold an ever greater, ever more important place amongst us in that community, woven always into the fabric of Macewan University, who we are, and that for which we stand. And so today, with my simple message, I'm only keeping my end of the bargain. If a university is the place most suitable for dealing with all manner of dangerous ideas, there must come a day when we all trust you enough to go out and connect with the world, with all that you've learned from your experience with us, if of course you have not done so already. And to be bold, to connect in the manner intended, to not fear making a mistake, you may have to reject those things you have always known, to have your felt experience overwritten by what you have reasoned in your time with us and in your private contemplation. But as Stephen from A Portrait cleverly reminds us, it's also okay for you to reject those things you have more recently learned. And it is okay for you even to reject later those things with which you replace those ideas. To be bold truly is to be brave enough to change your mind, to be brave enough to recognize that what works in one situation might not work in another. I'll leave you now with what might be the most radical idea of all in this age of constant outrage. Will you be bold enough to consider it? I wish for you the strength to look out on what has been done to this point and to find the integrity, find the beauty in all of that. It is fashionable to find everything we are to be fallen and flawed, built on the mistakes of a millennia or more. It is fashionable to say that we have only a certain number of years or months or even days to save ourselves from our future. Such thinking is the narrative of apocalypse, the showdown between good and evil, with life itself hanging in the balance. The eventual challenges of our future, whatever they will be used as evidence to prove that we did not do enough today. I maintain that your true role, going forward, will be to bridge us from what we are right now, both good and bad, to that which we will inevitably become. Things will change, likely too much and too fast for people like me. But you will do right by us all because, first and foremost, you will do the right things for yourselves and the right things for those people who mean the most to you. There is nothing wrong with this world that cannot be fixed by what is right in a university graduating class. I am optimistic in the face of all this catastrophizing because I think where we are right now is pretty good indeed. And the only thing that is better than that is you. Thank you for your attention. Congratulations on your momentous achievement in graduating.
Thank you, Dr. Monk. David Fisher, Alumni Association representative, will present the Distinguished Alumni Award.
Good afternoon. Alumni are a university's greatest legacy, and each year, MacEwan University recognizes the outstanding contribution and achievement of its graduates through the Distinguished Alumni Award. Established in 1986, this award represents the highest form of recognition our unity bestows on an alumnus. With this in mind, it is my pleasure to introduce this year's recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award, Nate Lewick. Nate is a musician, composer, and producer from Calgary, Alberta. Classically trained as both a pianist and guitarist, he has over 10 years of experience as a multi-instrumentalist, playing numerous instruments for a wide variety of artists and shows, including Tom Monks of Tokyo Police Club, Emily Kinney of The Walking Dead, and Ron Pope, as well as direct support for Lord Huron, Ted Nugent, and Meatloaf. He has also played as a pit musician in multiple theater productions, including Honestly Abe, off-Broadway, as well as regional productions of Hair and Rent. He is currently the principal guitar for Broadway's Tony Award-winning musical, Come From Away. Nate is also a prolific writer, producer, arranger, and sound designer, having composed and recorded music for television, radio, and commercial clients, such as AT&T and Man-Made Music, and produced sample libraries for Loopmasters and LP24 Audio. He applies his expertise to many different musical roles, ranging from sideman and soloist to musical director, and technical consultant and programmer.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon, graduates. Let me first and foremost offer a hearty congratulations to you, this year's graduating class. You've worked hard to attain something very special, and I stand here today primarily in honor of your achievement. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank MacEwan Board Chair Graham, Acting President McGrath, Dean Gilliland, faculty, and the Alumni Office for allowing me the privilege of speaking with you today. I would also like to extend a special thank you to Bobby Cairns, a mentor and teacher, without whom I would not be standing before you here today. Years ago, a bit of observational humor stuck in my mind. It went as follows. I used to be really into sports, but then I realized that you can buy trophies. Now I'm good at everything. It's obviously meant to be ridiculous, but does this joke hint at a bit of truth? A truth regarding the way we perceive success and the path towards it. If you're like me, many of you might be confronted with the temptation to look for a shortcut to wide-ranging success as you begin your career journey. Or you might try to take on too much for fear of turning down the wrong opportunity, while at the same time running the risk of wearing yourself too thin to take full advantage of any opportunity. So how does one navigate these things? How does one know the right path to take and how to travel on it? The bad news is there's no unifying answer, no single outcome of steps to take, because everyone's circumstance and the choices are different. However, in my short time with you here, my desire is to encourage you to consider two inevitable actions common to every career: leaving behind and pressing ahead. I began my path to becoming a professional multi-instrumentalist and session musician, studying jazz performance at what was then Grant MacEwan College. Following my 2-year diploma, I moved to Boston to pursue a degree, but I only lasted 2 semesters before heading out on tour with an indie band. I eventually made my way to New York City, where I picked up any work I could. As an aside, one of the most common questions floating around the musician community continues to be, how did you get that gig? The honest answer for the first number of years? Craigslist. I took gigs ranging from singer-songwriter sets to a kid's music band involving a sequined tailcoat and top hat. Why did I not wear that today? To a gig at Lincoln Center that actually turned out to Lincoln Center Hall, a junior high school gymnasium 5 blocks away. We also didn't play, we mimed, and I didn't end up getting paid. Shocking. But it all started to add up slowly, and over several years, after doing some overseas touring and a lot of shaking hands, I got a message from someone who owned one of those hands, asking me to audition for a new musical that had its sights on Broadway. It's at this point that the concepts of leaving behind and pressing ahead really come into play, because this opportunity ended up equally exemplifying both. I had some local theater experience, but my focus up until this point had been bands and touring. Not only was this level of pressure completely foreign to me, but I realized that to properly pursue this would mean to leave behind many of the interests and much of the experience and ground that I had gained as a sideman. This was a new world and largely would mean excluding the old. I'm compelled to be honest, I didn't love musical theater. I still don't. But something was different about this show. My actor friends all heard of the show and how it was breaking box office records in various markets. It centered around the tiny town of Gander in Newfoundland that showed incredible kindness and charity to thousands of people stranded by the airspace shutdown that was caused by 9/11. This was a story and message I could get behind. The Irish and Newfoundland-inspired music I was given to audition with was music I could get behind. Hence, I decided I needed to leave my other pursuits behind, even if the show never made it to Broadway. In my estimation, it was a risk worth taking. It was time to press ahead. Once I made that decision, I had to press ahead as wholeheartedly as I could. I was offered one of the out-of-town trial runs in DC to see if I was a fit for the show, should it progress to a Broadway theater. So for the next 2 months, I got rid of every other gig. I sat in my apartment and made no money. I bought and learned completely new instruments that I had never touched before, including mandolin, octave mandolin, and bouzouki. I listened to hours of Irish traditional music playlists. I memorized the entire score, cover to cover. Turns out, even though this was completely unnecessary, it turned out to work for my advantage. I would find out later that there had been 6 other people hired for the chair before me, and one of the struggles the creative team was having was to get the Irish traditional material played authentically. Turns out you can't do that if you're reading lines from a score. It needed to be done the way the trad players all do, from memory. The show has since ended up becoming a beloved Broadway staple. We were able to perform the opening number at Radio City Music Hall for the Tony Awards. We get to share a wonderful story about love and kindness with thousands of people every week. We even got to go to Gander and play 2 sold-out benefit concerts for the very people about whom the show was written. Being allowed to work every day, not only doing what you love, but comforting and encouraging others is an overwhelming blessing I cannot take lightly. But let me close with a moment of candor. Any or all of the preceding story could have gone completely differently. The show could easily not have made it to Broadway, let alone survived. The outcome of a career sought for is never certain. Even as I stand here before you utterly grateful of the fact that you've granted me permission to share my story with you for a few minutes, I must be soberly aware of the fact that I could be back on Craigslist this time next year. Nothing is certain, even when we are granted a measure of success. So I return to my original question, how do we navigate these things? We leave behind. We press ahead. We look at the situation presenting itself to us, and to the best of our ability, we choose. We choose to abandon that which has served its purpose when necessary. We choose to pivot to a new direction. We choose to press ahead in that direction with everything we have. We cannot ultimately control the way the choice turns out. Therefore, we needn't second guess or blame ourselves regarding its outcome. As long as we can examine ourselves honestly and then resolve to take action, regardless of the outcome, we can confidently stand behind our choice. And that confidence will be with you regardless of the level of success you enjoy. Thank you. All the best to you graduates as you begin your career paths.
Thank you, Mr. Lewick. And now for the moment. I invite Dr. Craig Monk in his capacity as Vice Chancellor, along with General Faculties Council Executive Committee member, Professor Kathleen Miller, to the respective podia for the presentation of graduates and the conferring of credentials.
Well, we have promised you a little bit of magic. This is the moment where students, attendees at Convocation, graduands, become graduates. So graduands, if you are able, please rise. On behalf of the faculties and schools of Macewan University, I present these graduands and those named in the Convocation program who are not at this ceremony. I ask that they be pledged and admitted to the Macewan University credentials that they have earned.
I will ask you now to join in the Macewan University Graduate Pledge. The pledge is not an oath, but an expression of purpose to which you will respond, I will. Will you pledge yourself to use the knowledge, experience, and skills you have gained at Macewan University to serve your community and the world faithfully? Thank you.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Vice Chancellor by the Province of Alberta, and upon the recommendation of Macewan University's General Faculties Council, I admit you to the degree, diploma, or certificate to which you are entitled, and I invest in you all the rights and privileges, powers and responsibilities pertaining to that credential. Now, I bestow upon you this credential as a solemn trust to transform, to engage, and to improve the world from this day forth, to teach and to learn from others, so that through your learning, we all may flourish. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Monk and Professor Miller. In a moment, our marshals will bring the graduates to the stage. Offering congratulations to each graduate are John McGrath, Acting President, Carolyn Graham, Board Chair, Kathleen Miller, General Faculties Council Executive Committee Member, Dr. Craig Monk, Provost and Vice President Academic, and the Dean of the Faculty or School. Offstage to your right is David Fisher, Macewan Alumni Representative. Mr. Fisher will present each graduate with a gift on behalf of the Macewan University Alumni Association. The graduate procession is ordered by faculty and school. Student awards will be presented in advance of graduates for the respective faculty and school processing across the stage. I would ask that graduates return to their seats after receiving their credential. The drum group, Cree Confederation, will perform an honor song as the graduates are being assembled. Protocol for Cree Confederation was offered before the ceremony. Cree Confederation, everyone. At this time, it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Wanda Costin, Dean for the School of Business, to come to the podium.
Good afternoon. In each faculty and school at Macewan University, we recognize students whose academic efforts place them at the top of their class. These Dean's Medals are the highest academic honor that may be granted by a faculty, and these medals recognize the exemplary success of individual students in an area of study. One award may be granted in a certificate or diploma program, and one award in the degree program. The Dean's Medal for Academic Excellence in a certificate or diploma program in the School of Business is awarded to Lorna Lynn Kerber, a graduate of the Business Management Diploma with an emphasis in insurance and risk management. Lorna, could you please join me? Lorna is a wife and mother of two who loves spending time with her family. She graduated from NAIT in 1996 with a diploma in medical laboratory technology, but shortly after graduating, she decided to focus her attention on raising her children. While her children were growing up, she also worked in the office of her husband's company. It was during this period in her life that Lorna developed an interest in insurance and finance. She decided to launch into a career as an insurance broker where she could combine her interest in health and business. With the support of her family, Lorna came to Macewan University for education in her chosen field. She excelled in her coursework at Macewan, achieving a GPA of 3.985. Please join me in wishing Lorna much success in her career. The Dean's Medal for Academic Excellence in a degree program in the School of Business is awarded to Sandra Ann Williams, a graduate of the Bachelor of Commerce. Sandy, could you please join me? I confess that when I learned about Sandy, we have a lot in common. Sandy is a wife, a mother, and a member of a military family. Completing a degree while balancing these responsibilities is in itself an achievement. However, she has achieved even more. As you've heard, this Dean's Medal is an academic award. Sandy is graduating today with a 3.989 GPA. My faculty colleagues in the School of Business have said that she is a force to be reckoned with because she is not only highly intelligent, but she is an incredibly dedicated student. She exhibits a true desire to learn and master the course material. We are confident that these traits will serve her well in everything she attempts as she moves on from Macewan University. We wish you much continued success. It is now my distinct pleasure to present to you the following graduates of the School of Business.
Now, presenting graduates receiving the Bachelor of Commerce, Yasmin Mamdou Abbas with distinction. Amin Mohammed Ahmad. Maria Sharianet Albay. Lois Alcantara. Nishe Ali. Faima Aman with distinction.
Noel Jake Balon. Scott Thomas Beard. David Robert Bell. Yana Bonder. Mununyasha Kisha Diana Popoto. Taylor Paul Bolt. Shakira Haley Lee Carter Jameson. Micah Samuel Diaz with distinction. Sharissa Joy Drader. Orin Abrahim Emran.
Geneva Estabilo. Erin Maria Graber. Colin Manfred Gruling. Colton Keller Lee Hannon. Mackenzie Graham Hillman Surgener. Vincent Hong. Brittany Ann Hess. Braden James Ryan Hughes. Christy Lane Jennen.
Carly Ray Kalinchuk. Cassandra D. Lacey. Yuanfei Liu. Sarah Nicole Amber Mackenzie. Dareen Mahfouz. Antonio Sachin Makardaj. Michael Robert Maximek. Wesley Kevin D. McCormick with distinction. Mitchell Alexander Messerschmitz.
Natalie Ann Molesbury. Matthias Daniel Munoz. Mohammed Radi Mustafa. Ashley Tao Nguyen. Sandra Niemeyer. Amanda Amankwa Ntiamoa. Arjun Pali. Jennerson Kalilang Perico. Yoshita Prasad. Christopher Ryan Prezanowski. Tyree William Quintal.
Ali Allen Rahal. Maimuna Rahman. Jaswant Singh Rai. Benjamin Thomas Reach. Ashley Ann Rollheiser. Jana Rose Amparo Satimbre. Zhongjuan Shi. Christian David Solkowski.
Rahil Rahim Suleiman. Olivia Storm Lavon Talaga. Jacqueline Kimberly Taylor. Leon Lam Tai. Philippe James Tron. Simin Wang. Colton Forrest Wisin. Ranran Zhu. And Teodora Dejanova Zlateva concludes this credential. And now, presenting the graduates receiving the Bachelor of Applied Business Administration, Accounting. And Erica Jordan Estabilo concludes this credential.
And now, presenting graduates receiving the Accounting and Strategic Measurement Diploma. Gina Punzalan Bisco. Alyssa Kaylee Huckalak. Ilya Mubarak. Alana Maria Sadler concludes this credential. And now, presenting graduates receiving the Business Management Diploma. Akashdeep Singh. Gurwinder Singh. Jasveer Singh. Komaldeep Kaur.
Major Singh. Shiv Kumar. Jessa Gail Bushell with distinction. Kennedy Natalina J. Candiani. Manpreet Kaur Shahal. Ashish Chabra. Cesar Andres Correa. McKenna Lee Davis. Michael James Durkin with distinction. Jacob Ryan Gendecki. Manjinder Singh Gill. Anmolpreet Kaur.
Gurminder Kaur. Taranjot Kaur. Drew Richard McCarty. T. Nguyen. Harveer Singh Randhawa. Komal Sabharwal. Shivanshu Sharma.
Himjot Singh. Jagrup Singh. Japsimran Singh. Lake Robert Christopher Sokolsky. Divine Uwama Horo. And Evelyn Maria Valencia concludes this credential. Now presenting students, graduates receiving the Human Resources Management Diploma. Gitika. Rajpreet Kaur.
Tiffany Ida Baker with distinction. Arvinder Paul Singh Bhatia. Tammy Margaret Bouchard. Harshdeep Kaur. Albert Yorick Verterbo Merla. Cyrene May Sanico. Veronica Sullivan concludes this credential. And now presenting graduates receiving the Legal Assistant Diploma. Jelena Eves Kerbis. Lisa Power concludes this credential.
And now presenting graduates receiving the Paralegal Studies Diploma. Chantel Lee Akerstrom. Ashley Alicia Anderson. Courtney Elaine Bennett. Mary Darnell San Martin Bilguera. Tanisha Boucher. Excuse me, Boucher. Natasha Lynn Bro. Geneviève Marie Bureau. Rodney Allen Dennis with distinction. Mackenzie Kathleen Dahl Mercier. Jamie Ree Laidley with distinction.
Natalie Jinshang Liu. Vanessa Ann Nelson. Leah Neufeld. Hallie Elaine Robinson. Laura Diane Soproniak with distinction. Bailey Anne-Marie Stang. Kate Swager. Jensen Lynn Thibault.
Vai Tran. And Erin Carol Eileen Wells concludes this credential. And now, presenting graduates receiving the Public Relations Diploma. Maxine Erica Brodeur with distinction. Aspen Sierra Dudzik. Geraldine Rose Kotolniski with distinction. And Denise Patrice Williamson with distinction concludes this credential.
At this time, I invite Dr. Alan Gilliland, Dean of the Faculty of Fine Arts and Communication, to come to the podium.
Thank you. And just before I get started, I just want to personally thank Nate and congratulate him on his Distinguished Alumni Award. I actually taught music theory and arranging to Nate 15 years ago when he was a student here, and it's so rewarding to see what he's done with his career. And it just reminds me that even though we get a lot of focus these days on kind of hard skills or practical skills, which usually translates into job in the oil and gas market, that a degree, diploma, and certificate from the Faculty of Fine Arts and Communications teaches a different set, but equally important set of skills that can lead to an incredibly rewarding career. So congratulations, Nate. That was off script. People were getting very, very nervous with that. Back to the script. At this time, oh no, you don't want to invite me, I'm already here. The Dean's Medal for Academic Excellence in a Certificate Diploma Program in the Faculty of Fine Arts and Communications is awarded to Carissa Lillian Federuk, a graduate of the Arts and Cultural Management Diploma Program. Carissa, please come up. Carissa Federuk is an outstanding, diligent, and conscientious student who produced a superior quality of academic work during her time with us. She simply wouldn't stand for anything less. Her strong sense of curiosity to learn was clearly demonstrated in her desire to expand her knowledge base within the discipline of arts and cultural management, and she embraced every learning opportunity that MacEwan provided. A frequent volunteer at MacEwan events, she also played a key role with the Mitchell Art Gallery for a term where she immersed herself in the work of the gallery during an internship there. She further demonstrated her commitment to her studies and to expanding her knowledge by completing research at the Scottish Opera focused on the impact of singing with those impacted with dementia, a very important area of study. As a vocalist herself, this must have had great personal meaning for her. She also completed an 8-week field placement with Scottish Opera, which she received very high praise. Finally, in the words of a faculty member who worked closely with her during her studies, Carissa is the perfect student in so many ways, always questioning, always pushing herself and others to do more and to do better, motivated and engaged. We will miss her already. Congratulations, Carissa. The Dean's Medal for, wait a minute, we'll wait to get off the stage first. The Dean's Medal for Academic Excellence in a Degree Program in the Faculty of Fine Arts and Communications is awarded to Markwell Hinton Lyon, and a graduate of the Bachelor of Communication Studies. I'd like to invite Markwell up now. It's Hilton, not Hinton. Here's what faculty had to say about Markwell. He's a diligent student whose classmates look up to him because not only does he excel in his academic life, he also has a life outside of MacEwan and was able to help them connect the theoretical learning to real life. He has an editor's eye and is keen to help others solve communication problems. Markwell has an enormous curiosity and his research skills are prodigious. Those qualities have served him well outside of school as a writer and editor. His bylines have appeared in a range of publications in the last 5 years, not to mention his wealth of uncredited writing. He enjoys telling stories and is a versatile communicator. His internship with the Alberta Magazine Publishers Association allowed him to demonstrate his abilities and to represent MacEwan to a broader community. On a more personal note, he loves the outdoors and is passionate about the mountains. When he had a chance to do a project involving writing about the history of the Rockies, he truly shone. In sum, Markwell is comfortable as a leader, as an outstanding peer, and as a guy with a wicked sense of humor, someone says. On behalf of MacEwan University, congratulations, Markwell. I now present to you the following graduates from the Faculty of Fine Arts in Communications.
And now, presenting graduates receiving the Bachelor of Communication Studies. Harley Michael Burland. Joshua DeRose. Andrew Mackenzie Gallivan. Leanne Maddie Goose. Brianne Carolyn Gurney. Jacob George Pesaruk. Declan Timothy Riley. Kelty Jean Squires. Molly EVA Stogren. Brianna June Cherie Veer with distinction.
Reed Alexander Welton. And Marley Aaron Wiesner concludes this credential. And now, presenting graduates receiving the Bachelor of Music in Jazz and Contemporary Popular Music. Karina Alejandra Fariña. And Heaven Patricia Oberick concludes this credential. And now, presenting graduates receiving the Arts and Cultural Management Diploma. Emily Grace Armstrong. Mikael Jasper Green with distinction. Kevin Heeman. Sarah Helen Lily Huffman. Lisa Jodoin. Catherine Mary Kozinski. Sophia Timoshenko.
Desriel Michelle Travers. Hannah Marie Tizchuk. Melissa Ashley Wolfinger. Junwei Zhan concludes this credential.
Thank you, Dr. Costin and Dr. Gilliland. Congratulations to all of our award winners and to our graduating class of 2019. I now ask Dave Fisher, Alumni Association representative, to provide a welcome to you, our newest members of the Macewan University alumni family.
Thank you, David. On behalf of Macewan alumni, I am honored to be among the first to congratulate you on your incredible achievement and to welcome you to our alumni family. So what does it mean to be a Macewan alumni? It means you're in good company. There are over 75,000 Macewan alumni working hard to make a difference in their professions and in their communities here in Edmonton and around the world. It means you have a built-in cheering section. You can count on your university and your fellow alumni to support and encourage you as you pursue your career or further studies. But we can't do that unless we know what you're up to. So get in touch with the alumni office once in a while. Share what you're up to. We want to continue to be a part of that journey. Being Macewan alumni also means you have the opportunity to play a role in the future of the university and its students. We encourage you to stay involved, to weigh in on big decisions and the strategic direction of the institution. You've been here, so you know what makes it special and where it can improve, and we want you to share that insight. We also encourage you to reach out to students who follow in your footsteps, mentor them, share your wisdom, invite them into your network, and support them in their education by contributing to scholarships, using your experience to help them succeed. It's the best way you can keep our community strong and connected. You can start today by visiting the alumni booth after the ceremony to learn how you can pass on your advice to the next class and how you can get one of the keepsake silver tassels by supporting the Alumni Legacy Fund. Congratulations, class of 2019. We're thrilled to have you as part of our alumni family.
Thank you, David. It gives me great pleasure to be able to thank the many volunteers that have worked so hard to make this convocation a success. As we near the end of convocation, I have a request of the audience. Please remain standing as a stage party exits first, followed by today's graduates. We ask that families and friends wait until the graduates have exited the hall before leaving. I now ask Board Chair Carolyn Graham to close convocation.
Good afternoon. This brings us to the closing moments of our ceremony, and our graduates and their families are invited to join us for refreshments in the foyer after. But before you leave, I want to remind you that while today marks the end of your academic journey, it's only the beginning of your educational journey. As you go out into the world, I encourage you to keep an open mind and an open heart, to look for opportunities to learn everywhere you go. Learning is one of the greatest joys that life has to offer, and I hope you always find value in it. And of course, learning is never done in isolation. It's the people around us who encourage us, who challenge us, and who motivate us to continue to grow. So at this time, I'd like to invite today's graduates to express their appreciation to the people who've supported them throughout their academic journey. So would the faculty, family, and friends of our graduates please rise? And graduates, a round of applause. Faculty, family, and friends, you may be seated. And now, in turn, I'll ask the graduates to rise. And I invite our audience, faculty, and staff to join me in congratulating the graduates of 2019. Congratulations to each of you, and thank you for joining us today. And now I declare this convocation closed.